So I cast down a project yesterday that I'm pretty excited about, and I wanted to share it all with you. So it is the weekend. I do work a full-time job during the week and I get weekends off, although sometimes work comes home with me over the weekend. Speaking of which, I have some things I still have to get done. But anyway, it's the weekend. It has been 24 hours since I cast on this project, and I'm super pumped and excited about how much progress I've made. I think you're probably able to catch on to that energy. So I wanted to kind of capture that essence in this vlog. So, the pattern that I've cast on, it's called the Stripe Hype Sweater by Veronica Lindberg. And this is a sweater that I've been seeing a lot of lately in different podcast episodes when I'm scrolling through social media and seeing people's progress. And I am not a person who typically jumps on trends and I would not consider myself a trendy person. Usually I try to be a little bit of a rebel and fight trends. So the fact that I'm casting this on now and I'm so excited about it is not typical. So let's capture this in a vlog. Yeah, so the Stripe Hype sweater is a paid for pattern. I purchased a copy on Ravelry. When it converts to US dollars, it's about $7.50. So the price point is something I can afford, and I went ahead and spent my own money on this. I am not sponsored. I don't have any affiliate links. This is just me sharing my own crafting journey, experience, perspective with you all, and should be taken with a grain of salt. So that all being said, I purchased the pattern yesterday afternoon and I took a look through it. I was first looking through all of the many project photos. There are over 1,000 projects of this sweater on Ravelry at this point. I was not at a loss for inspiration of different takes on this pattern and variations, or just following the pattern. What I did notice is that, so in the pattern, the main color is a light color, and then like a very neutral, white, off-white kind of shade. And then the stripes are all in different color, a shade of red, a shade of yellow, that kind of thing. And I think it's absolutely beautiful. The pattern is written for using DK weight yarn and is written to have 8 to 12 inches of positive ease. So a very loose fitting, relaxed garment using the DK weight yarn. There can be a little bit of drapiness to it depending on the content of the fiber. But I have a stash that's full of worsted weight yarn, in particular acrylic worsted weight yarn, and I'm looking for creative ways to use it. I have leftovers from blanket projects, sweater projects, hat projects, and I don't want this yarn to go to waste. I want to find a use for it. So as I'm looking through all of these colors of worsted weight acrylic yarn on my shelf, I'm thinking stripe hype sweater. Ooh, is there a way I can make this work? So yes, I did make some modifications personally to adapt this to using a thicker yarn. So I am using a larger needle size because I have larger yarn. I'm also using a larger weight of yarn, so it is thicker. And I personally didn't want to create one with so much positive ease. I love a relaxed fit of something oversized, but I feel like I've made a lot of those things and I want to try making something just a little bit more tailored. So I changed the needles, I changed the yarn, I changed the fit of the garment by going from relaxed and oversized to a little bit more fitted. I'm also not following the standard coloring for the pattern. So light background and the stripes being the darker, more bold colors. So what I'm doing instead is using a main color that's a dark color. And then the stripes are lighter shades, mostly because of the quantities of yarn that I have in my stash. I don't think I have enough light colored yarn in one color that could make a sweater with that as the main color, right? But I have a lot of dark yarns in larger quantities where I could do that. And I was looking through the not all 1,000 project pages, but I was looking at quite a few of them, and there don't seem to be many where people have switched up the colors in that way to make the main color a dark color and the stripes a light color. So I thought, hey, I'm gonna do it. So first, let me show you the yarns that I'm using, and then I'll show you the progress that I've made so far with a generalized overview of what I'm doing. Like I said, I can't get too specific because I did pay for this pattern. It is protected, and I shouldn't just be telling you guys all of the secret sauce. But yeah, if we start with the colors, so I'm using all acrylic worsted weight yarn, like I said. My main color is a beautiful navy blue. And I have a lot. See, it's starting to blow it out a little bit there. I have a lot of this kind of yarn in my stash. In fact, I have a whole 1 pound skein over there from Karen in a navy blue, which is not quite exactly this. I'm pretty sure this is from DeHart. I didn't have a label on here. I'm pretty sure this is a DeHart navy blue, but I also have a whole pound of Karen navy blue, plus, no, this might be Karen, and then I have another DeHart. I don't know. I've got like 3 skeins of this. One of them is a 1 pound skein. So like I said, I have a lot of dark colors. So this is what I'm using for my main color. And then for the stripes, I'm using lighter colors. This is a mess. Look at this thing. This is... So we have a really nice light pink. We have a really nice light blue. We have this wonderful golden color. I have a tan color, and then a slightly darker pink than this one. And these are going to be the stripe colors with the dark navy blue as the main color. So these are all yarns that, like I said, have been left over from previous projects. They're not even all from the same maker. So I've got either Karen or DeHart. I've got Yarn Bee. This one doesn't have a label anymore. Maybe it's from Michaels. It's possibly a loops and thread kind of brand. This is more Yarn Bee. This is definitely DeHart. This thing's a mess. And then more Yarn Bee. Yeah, the Yarn Bee ones have a little bit of a sheen to them. So I was thinking about how to space these out a little bit on the garment, and I hope that it works out fine. And this has, I would rank this as shinier than the DeHart, but also, not that DeHart is very shiny, but this is definitely matte and no shine to it at all. And after knitting with it a little bit, it is kind of a thinner worsted weight yarn and doesn't have quite the grist that this does. So there's a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? Gauge stuff to think about with the different yarns that I'm using. It's one thing to make a garment where all your yarn comes from the same company or maker or dyer or whatever, you know there's going to be a level of consistency there. Because I'm kind of using scraps from different brands of yarn, um, there could be some differences in the gauge that show up. So far everything seems fine to me, but just something to think about. So here's my progress so far in 24 hours. Yes, isn't it amazing? So, it is knit top down, and you do knit the front and back flat for a bit before you join in the round after the sleeve opening. And it is meant to have a drop shoulder design to it, but since I have severely reduced the amount of positive ease in this thing, the shoulders are not going to drop as far on my sweater as what you see in the pattern photographs. So in the pattern photos, these first 3 stripes do go down the arm for a little bit before you pick up for the sleeve and do the stripes there. This is not going to fall as far, and I'm totally okay with that. So here it is so far, only 24 hours of work. Nope. 24 hours of time has gone by. I've not been knitting that whole time because I did sleep like a whole 8-hour night. But anyway, yeah, I am totally loving the dark color as the main color and the light color as the stripes. I think it adds something different to the stripe hype sweater. I do not have 12 inches, 8 to 12 inches of positive ease like the pattern calls for. There is still a little bit of ease, but like I said, I wanted to go for something a little bit more fitted. Still some looseness to it, but not an oversized look. So the drop shoulder, this edge is rolling because of the stockinette stitch, but so the drop in the shoulder will not be as dropped as you would usually see in a drop shoulder, but I am okay with that look. The collar here is, I've got a long sleeve t-shirt on underneath, so the collar is looking like already a pretty decent size on this. So it's not as open as what I'm seeing on the DK weight version that people are knitting following the pattern. So it looks like my modifications kind of made this a little smaller. I'm okay with that. I am okay with doing like a little less ribbing or whatever I decide to do here for the collar. Like I said, I've got less drop to it, and I'm okay with that as well. And yeah, I'm just knitting it in the round, and the pattern is pretty straightforward and easy to follow. It even had some tips in there on how to knit stripes in the round to try to avoid getting the jog in the stripes, and I really appreciate that that was just included in the pattern, written in with instructions. So far this project is working up pretty quickly in worsted weight yarn, and I'm super excited. I kind of want to challenge myself to see just how quickly can I get this done, but I also know currently it's the weekend and I'm not working, and the work week is going to start again here real soon. So I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to keep working on this and giving you updates as I go, and I hope that you enjoy the ride. So I have made good progress and I've completed 3 colors, which is amazing. And in the pattern photos, that's how many stripes you do for the body, and then there's, a section of ribbing, but I would like this to be longer, and I think the current length that I have doesn't quite match up with the length in the pattern. Like, had I been using the correct yarn size and a number of rows and everything, this would inherently be longer at this point with the 3 colors. So yeah, I am gonna need to decide what to do next, and I think I'm going to choose, I think I'm gonna add more colors to this sweater, because I don't have enough of each color to repeat them, and I don't know, I've got more yarn in my stash of leftovers that I could use, so that's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to pick up another color here on the body. So I'm going to look at my colors and see what would be the best choice here versus the sleeves. And we'll see if I can make this without repeating any colors, or if I want to repeat colors. I'm not really sure. So just kind of flying by the seat of my pants. But yeah, I am using US size 7 needles with my worsted weight yarn, and I did not have a US size 7 16-inch circular to use on the sleeves, and I ordered one and it came in the mail yesterday. So I'm all set in that arena to be able to pick up stitches and work on the sleeves, and I'm kind of wondering if I want to do that before I finish the body, because if I have the sleeves, it will give me a better idea of how this all fits up top and messing with the length on this and everything. So yeah, I'm gonna have to decide that in the next few minutes before I sit down to knit for the evening, because I'm done working for the day. It has been a week and 1 day since I have cast this thing on, and my power just flickered because it's super windy outside. It's okay, Marjorie. Yeah, I have finished one sleeve and I have another one in progress. So let me show you this sweater. Oh. So I'm definitely not finished with the body, but I put the body on pause so I could work the sleeves, which are the perfect length. I guess the one is, I don't have them both finished, but this one I will do the same colors as over here. So I will end with the green, and I did write down how many rounds I did here so I can copy it on the other sleeve. And then I will probably save for the collar for last. And what I'll do is pick up the body again. So I'm right around my waist area. And what I'm starting to do is actually increase a few stitches to accommodate for my hips, because I do not want this to be cropped. I feel like if this was cropped, like this would be a decent place to stop if I was going to wear this over a dress or something, but that is not the plan. So I do want to carry this down. I have a t-shirt on underneath, and I would like this to cover my t-shirt. So you can see that I will need to get in 3 more stripes of a color down here. And I'm thinking that will finish off the body here. Obviously do some ribbing. I'm thinking the same amount on the bottom of the hem, but we'll just see how it hits me. I'm okay with doing a few more or a few less rounds, but yeah, this worsted weight sweater is going so quickly. So if you're like, hey, what sweaters knit up quick? I'd say worsted weight. They're the bomb. And she is finished. My stripe hype sweater is finished. It took me a total of 15 days. 15 days, which is during a busy time of the year for me at work. So finding time in the evenings was not always easy, but yeah, 2 weeks in one day to whip up a scrappy stripe hype worsted weight sweater. It was a lot of fun, to be honest. So yeah, it is completely finished. I did use 3 contrasting colors for the sleeve, which is like the original pattern, but I did need to use 4 contrasting colors for the body in order to get the length that I wanted, knowing that I modified this from the DK weight in the pattern to a worsted weight. I did also modify the number of rows for each stripe to accommodate for the fact that I'm using a different weight of yarn and a different gauge. But yeah, I love it so very much. I'm very glad that I added a small amount of increases for my hips because it fits very nicely. And it goes really well with my dark blue jeans that I'm wearing. Yeah, I've washed it and dried it since it's all acrylic yarn. I did put it in the washing machine and the dryer. It has softened up the fabric so much so that it's not like a boxy, straight, stiff, holding its shape kind of thing. It's a little more drapey and it's beautiful. I hope that you had fun following along with me in this little vlog series. I had a lot of fun putting this together and making this sweater, and I look forward to wearing this for years to come. Until next time, I hope that you stay safe, stay healthy, and you enjoy your crafts, whatever they may be. Bye!